Hello campers, welcome to Hungry Beast. On tonight's show, the cane toads are coming and they're coming for you.
Tonight, Australia has 23 million people and at least 200 million toads.
We look at plans to make lesser-known Marvel comic book superheroes into movies.
But they forgot to take his mop.
And Jess Mendes sits down with some of Australia's most feared bikie groups to talk about the new laws that are set to close their clubs down. But first, ever wondered why TV networks end up broadcasting so many of the same kinds of TV shows? Well, Marc Fennell and Hobba have cooked you up a tasty explanation.
Now that Channel 7's My Kitchen Rules has ended, can we please just agree? It was about a cravat away from being the perfect replica of last year's mega hit MasterChef.
Look, they've got the same burning logo intro. Those interviews?
Virtually identical.
Both love dramatic swooping shots.
And of course, plating up.
And I'm not going to plate anything up.
And we're plating it up.
It's not really surprising that you get knockoffs of popular programs, but there's something else going on here. It's called spoiling.
It's when networks rip off a successful TV show, not just to cash in, but the thing they won't tell you is they also want to fatigue the audience by flooding the market.
So in this case, when the second series of MasterChef returns, it'll feel like we've already seen it.
And as season 2 of Australia's favourite show gets closer to plating up, you can expect all of the TV networks to get in on the chef spoiler.
Well, I'm joined now by North American analyst Rod Oliver. Now, Rod, Barack Obama's passed his healthcare reform. Has that pretty much saved his presidency?
This has been a long and painful battle, Tony, but this victory won't come without some cost to the president.
It's been nearly 6 hours and Dr. Goodwin knows he's running out of time.
Arterial clamp.
Oh, that is so juicy.
This is a very, very bad thing. This is completely lowering the quality of Australian TV.
True, but think about all those shows on TV that you hate, right? We could use spoiling as a way of clogging the networks with copycat shows. We could kill off their audiences. We could destroy every show on TV that needs to die.
2010 is going to be a massive year for new TV. If you like the tensions of customs, then you'll love the airport drama of Travelator.
Thanks, Trev, I'm on it. We just found out the number for eastbound is broken.
Just walk towards me. Just come towards the sound of my voice, sir.
He's going to miss his plane.
Enjoying your stay at Cougar Town? Why not take a one-way ticket to Mantherville?
55 is the new 21.
Next, come on an adventure with much-loved British comedians exploring nature's lesser wonders. Graham Garden's Fjords, Dunes with Ronnie Corbett, and Stephen Fry's Brooks.
Just listen to the way it babbles.
And get your fix of smug Gen Y alternative takes on the news.
ASIO robot drones using Google to censor your vagina?
That's a little bit horseshit.
Stuff said this week.
If a society is so willing to screen aggressively to find these genes and then to potentially abort the fetuses, what does that say about the value of the lives of those people living with these diseases? Columbia University's Dr. Baron Lerner on the growing trend for couples to abort embryos with inherited diseases such as cystic fibrosis and sickle cell anemia. USA Today, 17th March, 2010.
Assassination. America, we survived the assassinations of Lincoln and Kennedy. We'll surely get over a bullet to Barack Obama's head. Solly Forrell, Twitter user and self-described authentic African-American, who is one of 2 people being investigated for tweeting death threats against President Obama after the passing of the healthcare bill. abcnews.go.com, 22nd of March, 2010.
Being connected to the web 24/7 means we often disconnect to the real world. And when things actually happen in real life, it can be a tweet first, act later scenario.
I think my legs are crushed.
Oh, I just got retweeted.
With everyone telling everyone else what they're up to every moment of the day, catching up can be a little boring.
So you're...
Yeah, and you're two are
crazy. And what about...
awful? Chat roulette?
Sure.
Great.
Between finding out what my ex had for lunch and what people are saying about photos of my cat, it's amazing I get any work done at all. Social media addicts like me are everywhere. Zombies with our heads down, fondling our phones. We look like we're thinking, but we're actually just trying to compose a snarky, pun-based tweet we hope will get retweeted by our tens of followers.
iPad with wings. Classic.
Social media. It's like having a digital wank, but as my mother used to say, too much wanking will make you go blind. Digital distractions. They're a little bit... What? I got a coffee.
A year ago this week, Hells Angel associate Anthony Zervis was bashed to death in full public view in a bikie brawl at Sydney's domestic airport. It prompted a police crackdown on bikie gangs as governments around the country developed controversial new laws to tackle the clubs. In response, the bikies set up state councils to unite against the proposed new laws. Tonight, in a Hungry Beast exclusive, Jessicah Mendes goes inside the New South Wales bikie bunker.
This is a meeting of the United Motorcycle Council of New South Wales. Every 2 weeks, the leaders of self-described outlaw clubs like the Hells Angels, Nomads, Finks and Rebels meet with Christian and military clubs like God Squad and the Vietnam Veterans.
That's from the last meeting. We had Margaret here from the PR company. She's talking to us about the ABC. They're here tonight.
After the Sydney airport bashing, the bikies became concerned that new gang laws would threaten all clubs equally. Bikie councils were formed across the country. In New South Wales, 18 clubs united to lobby against the laws and help resolve disputes. The council also hired a PR company to address what everyone here concedes is a serious image problem. How do you guys think the public see you?
They're blinded. They don't see who we are. Like, we're the average person. We just got an interest in bikes.
They see what they want to see.
Yeah.
They see us as, we're criminals.
It does seem to a lot of people like you guys enjoy that, having that really sort of menacing and scary image.
I think people get scared because they know if they fuck around with us, we have brothers that will back us up. We're not going to let a brother bleed when we're not bleeding.
And what sort of disagreements do you guys have?
Respect.
You got to respect each other. If you don't show respect, you don't get it in return.
Anyone want to add to that?
A lot of it comes down to perceived lack of respect on one party or another, or actual lack of respect from one party to another. We're trying to get a hold of that, as you can see here, so...
There's no truth to it. We all have to understand that if we keep continually arguing with each other, that the world's going to end.
Under the New South Wales Government's criminal organisation laws, members of a club can now be placed under a control order and banned from working in around 15 different professions. Those include security, tow truck driving, running a bar and being a mechanic.
There's not a lot stopping them adding things to that list either. I mean, they're constantly amending laws.
We could do an experiment. I could tell you who I work for and we'll see how quickly they put that on the list, but...
The laws also ban them from associating. Meeting another member under a control order would result in automatic arrest.
Anybody who's seen with us are classed as associate.
So fundamentally now, you're a biker bitch.
Yes.
These are all in on it.
These men want us to know they see the legislation as an infringement of their civil rights and ours.
The fact that any group of people can be subject to the legislation, the fact that criminal intelligence can be used against you and you're not going to be in court to hear what it is, so you can't defend yourself, this is really a dangerous piece of legislation.
But the police maintain tough laws are necessary and that bikie clubs are organised crime units. The bikies see it differently.
That's one thing that the media beef up and everything. It's like I said before, if you ever went to one of our meetings, we're not that organised.
Defence are.
And the way the police dress us all up, that there's one bloke at the top, he hands the drugs out and we all go out and feed it all out like an organised... That doesn't happen.
Police would argue, though, that certainly there are individuals within a lot of clubs that are involved in criminal activity.
Yeah, we've got people in the club that are. So's a football club team down the road.
Read the headlines in the last
so's
week.
the Labor government. But so's our police force. Are they an organised crime unit?
Not everyone's buying the idea that relations between the clubs are as relaxed as they seem in this room. According to a recent article, a bikie war is still simmering.
That's just more police propaganda. Nothing's been happening, so paper sales would be down. It's like a soap opera. They want to read the next instalment.
Just had a joke with the Angels. You read that article, apparently we're going to war over tattoo parlours we both own. We know nothing of this. It's a complete blow-up. That was a... You know, they just want to keep writing a saga about it.
I don't think the public realise we're fathers, we're grandfathers.
How many people here have kids?
They wrote about our wives having Gucci bags or something. My wife ain't got a Gucci bag.
Every time something comes up about the big bad bikies, I've noticed car drivers are more likely to sit up your backside when you're on your bike. They see someone with a patch on their back and they go, "Oh, beauty, let's hassle him." Why? I've got a wife at home I want to get home to.
To listen to a fart.
You know, when she watches this, when this comes out, she's going to kill me, you know. Why do you think I'm wearing long sleeves? She bashes me, covered in bruises.
I think a prime example is Vietnam veterans.
Because we've got a back patch on, we are a 1% club in the eyes of the police. Hotels and everything else, we're treated exactly the same. We wear a back patch with pride because we served in Vietnam. We came back and we were ostracised by the government, by everyone when we came back. At least the bikies give us a chance. We fought for this country and we cop all the shit.
The council is keen to understand that bikies are just like you and me. But some of the men here see violence and lawlessness in a very different way to most Australians.
Our attitudes are pretty old and raw. We deal with what we deal with. There's so many people out there that walk the earth would love to be able to go and bop someone over the back of the head with a bat because he pissed him off. We just fundamentally, we just do it our way.
Violent disagreements between rival clubs have been kept to a minimum over the past year. Regular council meetings mean clubs are increasingly answerable to each other, and no one wants to be to blame for a repeat of last year's events. In March last year, a man was killed at the airport in front of a lot of very scared members of the public. I know it's before the courts and there's a sub judice issue here, but is there anything that you can say to the public about it?
It's got to be said that what happened at the airport was a tragedy. But the fact of the matter is, you open the newspaper any day of the week and you're reading about similar sorts of stories that don't continue getting the same thing. It's there one week and it's wrapping your chips the next week or whatever. And the whole story just goes away in that particular time. This one hasn't because they're motorcyclists. It's the stigma attached with this particular group of people, not because of anything else.
You look what else happens in the world. Get over it. Build a bridge.
It's moments like these that make you wonder if a PR strategy will be enough to save the bikies. In the meantime, the irony of being brought together by laws designed to keep them apart hasn't escaped anyone.
In a way, the government helped us come together. The police want to tear us apart and have us fighting, and the government, in the same light, pulled us together or pushed us together.
Since this interview, it's been reported that the New South Wales Police are moving to declare the first club illegal. It's not clear how long the council and the relative calm it has brought will last.
I declare this civil rights meeting closed. Thank you, everyone.
Meet the cane toad. In 1935, 101 were imported to eat beetles that were decimating sugarcane crops. Hailed as a very useful addition to the fame of North Queensland, the toads were crap at their job, but they were good at breeding. Within 5 years, they'd spread as far as Brisbane, but governments only got serious about them in the 80s, when it became obvious that native species were threatened by the toxic amphibian. Since that time, many ideas have been proposed to get rid of them. The CSIRO spent 6 years and millions of dollars in the 90s scouring the globe for toad-killing viruses. In 2001, as toads pushed south into New South Wales and west into Kakadu, a 7-year attempt to stop toad breeding by genetic manipulation began. It failed. In 2004, Northern Territory researchers claimed a local frog could eat toad young without side effects, but just because it could, didn't mean it would. NT politician David Tollner called for a National Toad Whacking Day in 2005, suggesting we bludgeon them to death. Queensland Premier Peter Beattie then committed $1 million for the development of poison baits. In 2006, anti-toad group Frogwatch called on the Army to work out strategies for controlling toads on their ground. The group also proposed turning them into high-potassium fertiliser for fruit trees. 2007 was full of promise. Someone invented a toad-blasting audio-killing machine. The media reported toad murdering crows, and University of Sydney research found toads eat a dozen offspring in a lifetime. Promising, but female toads lay up to 70,000 eggs a year. Another study pinned hopes on spinal arthritis in migrating toads. 2009 was the year of toad-proof fences, which didn't stop them crossing the WA border. In February this year, a Queensland businessman said he planned to export millions of toads for use in Chinese medicine. A fortnight later, researchers argued carnivorous ants would eat young toads if lured to breeding grounds by cat food. Meanwhile, the toads march on. A fortnight ago, the first hit Kununurra in WA. A week ago, baby toads were found in Sydney. Last Wednesday, launching a national cane toad plan, Environment Minister Peter Garrett conceded defeat. The federal government has officially abandoned eradication and will now focus on minimising harm to native animals. Tonight, Australia has 23 million people and at least 200 million toads. Some put the figure at 1.5 billion. Cane toads, it's their country, we're only borrowing it.
Do you have a Band-Aid? Thanks.
These days it seems like every comic book character gets their own movie. Wolverine, Captain America, Thor. But there's a whole bunch you've never heard of that haven't made it to the big screen yet. And there's a good reason why.
You know what I love, Nick?
No, Dan. What?
Obscure corporate buyouts.
That's a fascinating seg, Dan, because I was just reading this newspaper, and it turns out the Disney Corporation has just finalised a deal to buy 5,000 Marvel comic book characters for $4 billion.
Man, that's a great deal. Movies about comic book characters always make bank. They're going to be rich.
Stop saying words, Dan. You see, all the good Marvel characters like Spider-Man, Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk, well, they're already owned by other studios. So Disney forked out $4 billion for the rights to make movies about characters no one wants to see.
Oh man, that's bullcrap.
Bullcrap indeed, Dan. However, there might still be a chance that Disney could make their money back. But they're going to need a little bit of help.
From us?
You know it. We're going to turn this corporate blunder into a money-making wonder. All we need is a solid pitch and someone who knows a thing or two about movies. Can I wear my costume? No. Come on, guys, we're going to Fox Studios to meet Bruce Carter, the head of Animalogic.
The ones behind the films Happy Feet and Legend of the Guardians?
Stop asking so many questions, Dan. Shut up, Dan. Okay, Bruce Carter, thanks for seeing us.
Now, we've taken a look through the 5,000 Marvel characters that Disney now own.
And I think you'll agree we found their next batch of summer blockbusters.
From New X-Men 117, meet Beak, half man, half bird.
Now, I know what you're thinking, Bruce, the power of flight, right? Wrong. What Beak has a hollow, fragile bone, so he can't really fight people. It would be like an action film, but without the action. No action.
We're thinking maybe he sees a crime outside his apartment window and then calls the authorities.
Think Rear Window, but with James Stewart played by a hideous mutated bird freak.
Currently thinking maybe Sean Penn to play Beak and Sheila Booth to play his nephew Tito.
And come next summer, we're all riding solid gold yachts because this block just got busted. Whoa! What else have you got? Okay, we got more. Don't worry about that. How about this? From X-Force, Volume 1, Mr. Sensitive.
His power is super sensitive skin.
He's completely defenseless against grass clippings and animal hair.
Plus, he's got a super sidekick.
Do I smell buddy comedy?
Me too.
He's like a sentient pickle, but covered in warts and with trace elements of his brain stored in his ass. Every kid is going to want a Dupe action figure. Ass brain told separately.
We're thinking Orlando Bloom to play Mr. Sensitive and Sheila Booth to play Dupe.
Great, but look, I've got to go. Okay, Bruce. Just wait 1 second, Bruce. I think you'll agree that we save the best till last.
From Marvel Comics presents issue 60.
And given the Disney treatment, Bruce, I think you'll agree this is going to be huge.
Joe Trinity had it all. A good wife.
Remember, don't get involved in any gangland crime syndicates.
Oh, Sally, I'm just a regular banker. That could never happen.
A good job.
Congratulations, Joe. I want you to take care of it personally.
And a good mop.
Hey, Joe, why do you always carry that mop around?
Yeah.
No reason.
But when he started asking too many questions...
Sir, I have some questions.
That's too many.
I want this Joe Trinity situation taken care of. Taken care of to death.
They took it all away. His wife.
Sally!
His job. But they forgot to take his mop. It's time to mop up this dirty town. Justice is about to wipe the floor with you.
Why won't this man just die?
It's his mop, sir. It's too powerful.
Time to kick the bucket, bitch.
Oh, brilliant. You can just see Sheila Booth has been... Bruce?
Disney are in a lot of trouble, aren't they? What are we going to do with 10,000 ass brains?
This globe shows how willing people are to fight wars. The data reflects the average view of national populations, not just their governments, and is based on subjective analysis by the Economist Intelligence Unit. Surprisingly, the populations of the world's greatest superpowers do not reveal themselves to be very aggressive, and citizens of some of the world's most war-torn nations do not seem to actually want to fight. But other nations, also mired in division and violence, have populations very willing to take up arms. The nations most willing to fight are a diverse group, rich and poor, dictatorships and democracies. The one thing they all share is large militaries and a willingness to fight if the need arises. According to this data, Australians would be a little more resistant. To see the full results, head to the website.
Now, I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions.
For sure.
Tell me about the last time you were in a fight.
2 days ago.
What happened?
With my husband.
This morning I passed my wife in the hallway and she went, and I went,
A woman tried to job me last night down the pub.
This guy goes, "Hey, Toots," and I just saw red.
No, she was just a bit mental, that's all.
And I just went bang, and of course I'm left-handed, so no one ever sees it coming.
It was probably before Christmas. Stress of Christmas.
My boyfriend cheated on me. I saw the girl, I just got off the bus, got her, choked her until she couldn't breathe.
By the time I was ready to express my opinion, it all came out like verbal diarrhoea. Felt better though, felt really good after it.
I'm a good boy, go to church every week, so I'm not really into fighting. I just like talking through my problems and yeah, that's it, bro.
The broadest definition was probably an SMS fight or something.
I just stuck up for somebody else and they staunched me out the front of my house with iron bars and just bashed me out the front.
I walked out the bigger man because he was on the ground covered in blood and yeah.
Spent 3 weeks in hospital, 2 broken legs, pin in my finger, 2 plates in my leg, fractured nose, cheekbone.
Some guy attacked me and I hit him back.
He started it, I finished it, you know.
Oh, it's a few weeks ago. I was just helping a mate and, I got bashed.
I didn't feel too much, except I felt sorry for his young brother. You know, his young brother was, I'm sure it was his young brother watching, that was terrible.
I was really shaken up for a couple of weeks.
Pretty good with me gob, so I don't have many fights. I think love and kindness and compassion is the best way to go. Walk away, you're a man.
Follow the money. $498,246. The average annual amount a Goldman Sachs employee pocketed in salary and bonuses the year after the GFC. $68 million. The value of all $1 and $2 paper notes, still officially circulating in the Australian economy. $17.5 billion. The projected annual worth of the mobile apps industry in just 2 years' time, which is $4 billion more than the expected return from CD sales.
That's it for Hungry Beast tonight, but keep an eye on the website throughout the week for more stories, including the ones you sent in.
Next week we're looking for videos from you on what superhero the world needs right now, or if that doesn't get you excited, on another topic you're passionate about.
As always, shoot it on a camera, a phone, a webcam, it doesn't matter, whatever works for you, and then upload them to the Hungry Beast website by Monday night.
Till next Wednesday,
good night.
Coming up next week on Hungry Beast. Upon learning he may be losing Lara Bingle, Max Markson releases images of his newest client. And as organisers prepare for Earth Hour, we examine the success of last year's event.
This Earth Hour we saw a 20% reduction in smog, but a 50% increase in smug. And the levels of worthiness were at an all-time high.
That's next week on Hungry Beast.
And do you have any Diet Coke? Thanks.